Tonight, we are joined on NewsLife by experts from PAGASA and the National Water Resources Board to give us an insight to the El Nino phenomenon hitting the country and its impact to the supply of water for our people and food security. We have Mr. Anthony Lucero from PAGASA's Climate Monitoring and Prediction Section and Engineer Sevillo, Executive Director of the National Water Resources Board. Good evening, gentlemen, and welcome to NewsLife.
Good evening.
So we'll start with Mr. Lucero. Sir, for the education of our viewers, now, what is the El Nino? When did it start and how is it going to stay?
El Nino is an anomaly in the sea surface over the Pacific Ocean that is 1,000 miles away from the Philippines. So it's a phenomenon, it's a cyclic phenomenon that is part of the climate system wherein there is a warming of the ocean and then cooling of the ocean. And now we are in the phase of the warming. Then we call this the El Nino. It started October 2014. And we classify this as a weak El Nino. It's still going on. And we predict that this will intensify into a moderate El Nino after August.
Now, how are the provinces affected? How is the country affected by this phenomenon?
We have been monitoring this phenomenon, and we have noted that there are several provinces affected by dry spell and drought. And it's going on. And we expect that there will be several provinces that is going to improve as the rainy season approaches. Then after that, we will be feeling the full impact of El Nino from August onwards.
Which provinces are worse hit by this phenomenon?
There are several provinces in the south, like Zamboanga, Zamboanga del Norte and Zamboanga del Sur. And Bohol, some parts of Cebu is still experiencing a dry spell, some parts of Negros and Sorsogon in Bicol region, and Mountain Province in the northern Philippines, Kalinga, I think, Abra, those provinces. I don't have the exact name of the list of the provinces, but
that's a lot of provinces.
Those are the things that I remember.
Now, Engineer David, as the Executive Director of the National Water Resources Board, what is your mission every time this phenomenon hits the Philippines, and what are your priorities?
In terms of water supply, one of the mandate of NWRB or the National Water Resources Board is the allocation of water that comes from the Angat Dam or Angat Reservoir. Because the Angat Dam, it primarily supplies the water requirement of Metro Manila, and likewise, it is also the source of the irrigation requirement of around 27,000 hectares in Bulacan and Pampanga provinces. So in terms of the issue on the El Nino, it has to be because it will also have an impact on the possible water supply within the Angat Dam.
Now, what is the status right now of the Angat Dam? Is it still in stable condition, or are we below?
Currently, as of 6 a.m. this morning, the level is around 179.22, which is already below what we call the minimum operating level of 180 meters. And with this situation below 180 meters, we are prioritizing the water supply for Metro Manila province, for Metro Manila area and adjoining provinces. And as far as irrigation is concerned, at this level, based on our assessment, we have to temporarily stop the releases for irrigation requirement.
What else? What other protocols do you implement when this happens, when it does go below, as you say, the normal level?
We have to closely monitor the reduction in the water level because it might also require that we also reduce the reduction or reduce the allocation for water supply if necessary.
What are the contingencies that are in place?
We have been coordinating with our water concessionaires also, in terms of the contingencies in case there will be a continuous decline in the water supply. And I think the concessionaires we have readied some contingency plans in case there will be continuous decline of the water level.
Now, Dr. Lucero, now with the El Nino phenomenon, we will be expecting less rain.
Yes, sir. We have been experiencing less rain since February, and that's why we were able to identify places that affected and drought. What we are expecting from now onwards is that we'll have still less or reduced rainfall in some places, although we will have the onset of the rainy season by June. And in July, we'll have the southwest monsoon, which will give us a lot of rain, and that will be on the season of tropical cyclones. But on August, the end of the year, there will be places that there will be more places that will be affected with reduced rainfall.
Now, how does this actually affect like the rainy season? And of course, Philippines, every year we are affected by typhoons. Does this have greater effect, or do we have stronger typhoons because of this, or do we have lesser typhoons? Do we have lesser rains?
Yes. During an El Nino, for the months of July, August, and September, we expect to have above normal rainfall. And then towards the end, October, November, December, we'll have reduced. That will be the full impact of El Nino. And in terms of tropical cyclone, remember that even if there is no El Nino, there will be tropical cyclone. According to our research, most tropical cyclone that will be entering the Philippine area of responsibility will just bear it will avoid the landmass of the Philippines. But that will be more stronger tropical cyclone during an El Nino.
Now, how do you explain, like today, the past few days has been very hot in Metro Manila, but then, like this morning, we had very strong rains, which actually caused a lot of traffic along EDSA. Now, how do you explain this?
Well, the air is full of moisture now because of the wind from the southwest monsoon. It is commonly called the habagat. And what we only need is that we need to have convection over the surface of the earth. And we have been observing that there are, in the past few days, it's very hot and the sun is shining, and it's heating up the land. And that's what causes the air to move up. And when the air moves up, it forms the cloud and gives us the rainfall.
Now, Director David, now, Angat Dam is not the only dam we're monitoring right now. You have the Pantabangan, San Roque, Magat, Ambuklao, and Binga. If these are affected, will this mean that you will be stopping irrigations, and how will this affect the farmers in these areas?
Actually, for these dams, at this time, they are not yet on the critical level, but I think we have to really closely monitor them also, because once they reach the critical level, then most of these dams are both power generation and irrigation dams. So what will happen is once they reach the critical level, the power generation will have to take the back seat and prioritize the irrigation requirement. But of course, if it continues to go down the level, then it might also affect the water supply for the irrigation.
What are your contingencies for this?
I think for this, I think the National Irrigation Administration have some contingency plans to address the possible effect of this continuous decline of the dam.
And a final question for Dr. Lucero. Now, what is PAGASA's forecast, and what is your advice for our people?
For the next coming season, the next 7 months, beginning in June, generally we will have a decrease in rainfall, and there will be a noted decrease in rainfall over some of our dams in Luzon, even in Lanao Lake. So that will affect our water resources. I would like to advise our colleagues to conserve. Please cooperate in conserving the water. The government will have plans, contingency for this special event, and hopefully we will be able to avoid disasters. We will be able to avoid inconvenience. Just keep on cooperating.
And Director David, you have launched an awareness campaign on water conservation. Now, how massive is this campaign, and what should the people know, and what should the people do?
I think the people should know that with this possible effect of El Nino, and it might affect the water supply of the reservoirs, I think we really have to continue the practice water conservation, and I think we have been advocating that along with our partners, agencies like PAGASA, and of course the water concessionaires. They are also very active in conducting awareness program on water conservation, and I think our countrymen should realize that this threat of the weak El Nino on our water supply is there, and I think we have to really practice water conservation. That will also help us to avoid rapid decline of the water level in our Angat Dam.
Okay, on that note, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here tonight on NewsLive. That was Dr. Anthony Lucero, PAGASA's Climate and Prediction Center, and Engineer Sevillo David, Executive Director of the National Water Resources Board. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.